proposal for services. It's a pretty standard letter that we've put together to send to counties when we get a general inquiry about what we offer and how we do things. If Janelle said to go ahead and just give you a little bit of an overview, I will work really, really hard not to bore you with all my tax foreclosure stories, but I do like tax foreclosure, as weird as that sounds. Not a lot of people like it, so I guess it's good that I do enjoy doing the work. But if you have any questions, just pop in and just interrupt me. I'm not offended at all. And I will take questions as they come up, or if you want to save them to the end, that's totally up to you. So I'll just go ahead and jump right in with what we offer. So typically, we can get a tax foreclosure case done. I used to tell people 9 to 12 months, and now we do so many of them, my staff would kill me if I said that we could get anything done in 9 to 12 months. So typically our standard time from start to finish on a tax foreclosure sale, tax foreclosure proceeding is about 12 to 18 months. Sedgwick County is our biggest county. They send me anywhere from 700 to 1,000 parcels per year. And we get that list in September, and we just finished the Sedgwick County tax foreclosure sale late November, but we're working really hard. I think we'll still have it wrapped up by end of 2025, which is always our goal, to get it done by the close of the fiscal year. We do counties all across the state. Trigo will send me 6 parcels. Now, given that's a bit small and a little bit of a challenge, but we do take care of Trigo with their small little foreclosure case. Some other counties, Chautauqua, Cherokee, they send us anywhere from 100 to 300, and we get everything in between. So no county is too big or too small for us to figure out a way to make it work. We set our attorney fee based on the number of parcels that you send us. So obviously, the more parcels, the lower the per parcel fee can be, because we can do kind of be more efficient with cases that have more parcels attached. The way it works, and this is always the biggest question for commissioners, is how much is it going to cost us? We are structured so that you do not pay us a fee at all. So we charge a per parcel fee that gets attached to each parcel, and it's authorized by statute. It gets attached to each parcel at the time that your treasurer sends us the parcel list. So let's say your treasurer sends us 100 parcels. Our standard fee for handling about 100 parcels, assuming that they are not mineral interest, but assuming they're real estate parcels, is about $350 per parcel. So the treasurer will come up with the list, and we'll work with your treasurer's office to help them identify parcels, put it in a specific type of spreadsheet that we use in Excel. I send us a list, and I will email your treasurer and say, okay, anyone who wants to come in and redeem property out of tax foreclosure proceedings as of the date you send us the list, they have to pay taxes that are due, which can vary depending on whether a lawsuit is filed yet or not filed, and I'll explain that, but also pay our per parcel attorney fee. That per parcel attorney fee is then held by the treasurer till the end of the case in a special account, an account with an earmark for tax foreclosure, however your treasurer wants to handle that. We review the list and start working on the list, and may go back and forth with your treasurer's office saying, hey, this address is incomplete, this legal description doesn't look correct. We work on getting all of that stuff cleaned up before we file a lawsuit, and then we send that list over to your title company of choice. At that point, we will reach back out to the treasurer and say, okay, we've sent this list over to the title company. Anybody that wants to redeem property at this point has to pay a per parcel attorney fee, and now the per parcel title abstract fee, and that'll be whatever your title company chooses. Again, that is paid, and it is held by your treasurer. Anybody who wants to redeem will pay that, and that will be held by your treasurer till the end of the case. Then once we file the lawsuit, and that could be before title work goes to title, or after, just depending on how the schedule of the case works. Once we file the case, everybody that wants to redeem property after the case is filed then also has to pay a $100 court cost fee. And that court cost fee then covers service of process expenses that we incur during the case, mailing, some of that money will go back to the county to reimburse for publication and title work, et cetera. So there are 3 redemption costs that get stacked there at the beginning of the case that help cover all of the costs of the action. And all of that money, as it's paid and people redeem, gets paid to the treasurer's office, and the treasurer holds that money to the end of the case when I get a final order to pay everybody. The one little bit of a nuance that, and I'm sure your treasurer is aware of this, is that if you've done a case in the recent past, I don't know what your history is that up until the time the case is filed with the court, and there's some work that we do up until that point to get it ready to file with the court. Up until that point, the taxpayer only has to pay the oldest years of taxes that make it eligible for tax foreclosure to be dropped out of sale. So right now, going forward, it's anything, if you have 2022 or older taxes, then you are eligible for inclusion in tax foreclosure sale. If someone comes in tomorrow, they only have to pay up through and including that 2022 year, then they don't get included on the tax foreclosure list. But once we file the lawsuit, once we get a lawsuit on file, they have to pay all of the years. So let's say they have taxes from 2015 to 225. They would have to pay all of those years to get dropped from tax foreclosure sale. So what we do to try to accommodate that and try to lock people into, most of these are cleanups. We're trying to get counties cleaned up and get them current. So what we do is as soon as we get the list from the treasurer, before we get any title work sent out or received back, we prepare what we call the skeleton petition, because it is a bare bones lawsuit. And it lists on the skeleton petition all of the parties that are identified in the tax rolls. So we have to give notice of tax foreclosure to more people that are just identified on the tax roll. But we get that first lawsuit filed, and we serve all of the people on the tax roll, and then we wait for the title work to come in. Then we amend the lawsuit, add anybody else who's identified in the title work, mortgage companies, lien holders, Kansas Department of Revenue, IRS, anything like that. And then we serve them a copy of the amended petition. At that point, once we have effectuated service on all of the relevant parties through the filing of the original and the amended petition, then we kind of jumpstart and move forward with doing the general litigation of the tax foreclosure case. So that is how we initiate the proceedings, how we collect fees. What we do ask with regard to the fees is that all of that fee that is collected is held separately by your treasurer, and none of it is spent, because at the end of the case, I have to do a full accounting to the court and explain to the court everything that has been collected, and then we pay the bills out of that. So I do wait to the very end of the case to get my fee, which obviously incentivizes us to not let these cases sit for a very long time, because I will work for a year to a year and a half without getting paid, and obviously that helps keep the case moving along. But more importantly, it assures that everything is court approved and court paid. Everything is very transparent to your public, should anybody have any questions or issues about how money was brought in and how it was allocated. Along the way in the case, there will be bills that the county will have to pay, and we typically counties pay these out of their general funds. That'll be the title work bill and the publication bill. And as those bills come in, my legal assistant sends those off to the treasurer and says, attached, please find the bill for the title or the bill for the publication. Please put this in line for payment from the general funds, not from the tax foreclosure collected proceeds. So at the end of the case, when we do our final accounting, we also assure that the county gets reimbursed for those expenses. So there is a little bit of a carrying cost, but at the end of the case, it is reimbursed back to the county from everything that we've collected. In some circumstances, we run short on money. It's pretty rare. I want to say it was Osborne County. We went up there and sold about 25 properties, and they all sold for a pittance. And it was shocking how many parcels sold for $5 and $10, because a lot of times we will make a lot more money than that in tax sale. And we did reduce our fee several $1,000s, I think $4,000 or $5,000. We cut our fee to assure that there was enough money to pay everybody that needed to be paid. So in the rare circumstances that happens, we do adjust our fee. We just take the hit on our end to help to make it all work in a way that is fair and equitable for everybody. But rarely that happens. We've been doing these sales for years and years. Typically, we do find that between the redemption fees that are collected and the tax sale proceeds that are collected, everybody comes out pretty well. With regard to, I guess we've had this issue come up here in the last year. with some commissioners in some of our other counties wanting to try to use this tax foreclosure proceeding as a way to create bidding opportunities for their constituents. We've had some counties where there's been some really, really good property, some farmland or some big acreage, and their constituents want to come in and buy it up for whatever reason, whether it's a lucrative investment or whether they think a meth house is being run on the property, or they just want to get those people out. And so they want to try to push the case to immediate sale. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I still have to follow all of the procedures for the tax foreclosure case, which requires multiple publications and waiting periods and deadlines that have to pass before I can move forward by statute on certain things. So I just always want to reiterate when I'm making these presentations that we're in the business of generating tax revenue for the county, not in the business of creating bidding opportunities for constituents. We would love for everyone to come and redeem property, because that is the way the county gets made the most whole. Because you know that when someone comes in to redeem, they're going to have to pay, assuming our case is on file, 100% of the taxes, all the fees and costs. So we are collecting money to make sure these cases stay cost neutral as much as we can for the county, but also we're generating all the tax revenue. When we go to tax sale, you will never collect 100% of the taxes once we go to sale. Tax sale is a loss leader, essentially. So the goal is always, what can we do to see how many redemptions we can get? And I can work through it with your treasurer as the case unfolds. Some treasurers have questions about accepting partial payments, that kind of thing. I always tell people, if someone wants to come in and pay 10 years of taxes and they want to pay 1 year every month, please let them, because you are collecting taxes and offsetting the total taxes due on that real estate. I have just a few counties that refuse to take partial payments once a case is filed. Ultimately, someone can't come in and pay anything, can't pay at all, so they don't pay anything. And then that property goes to tax sale, and it's very likely we're not going to collect all the taxes. So those are a couple of the issues that come up from time to time. We handle everything in our office through the coordination of your treasurer's office, and it sounds like Sonia Goodwin would be the person we would work directly with. We have multiple staff members. There are, I think, 3 full-time staff members and another attorney that works foreclosure, and then I have another part-time staff member that jumps in and helps from time to time. But we handle everything, the services process. We handle the publication. We handle coordinating the title work with your title company. If you don't have a title company that you prefer in your county, I have a great title company that I love to use across the state. So, but we coordinate that all with whoever's in charge of your treasurer's office to select parcels and to work within our system.
So occasionally there'll be a property that it just doesn't sell, and I guess in that instance you don't have any charge. I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well. I think you're asking about properties that don't sell at tax foreclosure. Is that correct?
It doesn't sell at a tax foreclosure sale. So what's the process with that?
We do have, from time to time, we do have parcels that go no sale. The statutes allow for typically we just roll those over into the next year's sale. I don't think that we have ever had a parcel no sale 2 years in a row. I don't have situations where parcels just kind of stay there and don't ever sell year after year. So the first thing we always do is just roll them into the next year. If you have a really good parcel, it's not going to hit a no sale. It's usually like some little piece of an alleyway or a little patch of land that no one wants.
Yes.
Or in a small town that, no one wants to buy property, and those are the ones that no sale. But I've never had a no sale 2 years in a row. If we get to a situation where to be very clear, the county does not own the property after the tax sale. If it does not sell, it remains in the hands of the current owner. The county has a lien as to that real estate, but does not have an ownership right. And sometimes people wonder, I've had counties come in and then just after they haven't sold haven't sold property in tax sale, someone will walk into the treasurer's office a week after tax sale and say, hey, can I buy it? And the treasurer sells it. Well, we can't do that. It always has to be at public auction. If you have some real estate that is worth selling that did not get sold at the auction, the statute allows for some specific steps that you can take to do a private sale of that property, we often find that that's cost prohibitive, that what the county would have to pay me to do a post-sale separate private transaction is not worth getting it cleaned up. But we just haven't had any that have ever just, even in my very rural counties, we just haven't had any that lingered on. I will tell you, to that end, that I have this group of people that buy property now out of my tax sales. I call them my tax sale groupies because I have two guys from Minnesota that come down. I have a guy from Colorado that comes in. I have a couple ladies from Oklahoma. We have a website that posts all of our tax proceedings on it. So these folks from all over now have been coming to my sales for years. They hop on my website and they see what sales are coming up, and then they come in from out of town and buy a property or try to buy a property. And they usually clean it up and try to resell it, or in some cases they clean it up and rent it. But it's been a very positive experience. Everything that the folks that I know pretty well is very positive experiences to these cities and municipalities where they're purchasing property. The two guys out of Oklahoma are really, really good. I really like them. They do a good job renovating and turning property. And so there's several ways that we can deal with that, but typically we haven't had too much issue. Even, I'll tell you, I was just down in Kingman for the Kingman County tax sale yesterday, and we started with 35 parcels. We had 33 parcels redeemed before sale. And we have been doing Kingman since about 2015. So I think this was the 7th or 8th case that we've had for them down there. And every year, people realize, hey, they're doing a tax sale, they're really going to come in and sell this property. People will redeem. They know their property is going to get sold. So the redemption rates continue to get better and better in counties like that. But we did have 2 parcels that didn't sell. They were empty lots. One was in the city of Nashville, and I think one in the city of, I think it was Monroe, but one had sewer and water on it. One had nothing on it. And we had one registered bidder yesterday, and then another registered bidder floated in. And that was unheard of. We were very, very surprised. But even that guy, I talked him into buying the property. He got one parcel for $100, and he paid a $100 court fee and a $21 recording fee. So his total was $221. But the treasurer was happy to be like, look, it's off my delinquent tax list. I don't have to pay redemption costs on it. I don't have to pay publication on it. She's like, it's in the hands of someone that will take care of it. But yeah, I basically strong-armed that guy buying it yesterday. I told her, hey, you can buy this as a gift for your wife for Christmas. It bought you a piece of property in Nashville, Kansas. But we weren't even able to get rid of that. And then we actually had a commissioner buy the other one because she just didn't want to see it end up back on the tax roll, because commissioners can buy the property too. There's no disqualification there. So even in those 2 little junky parcels, we were able to get rid of yesterday. So we ended up with all of them gone, which was good news for the county.
And the other part of that is, besides the treasurer's office has to continue to handle it, oftentimes the county still has to maintain it or do something with it. So there's an expense that goes with that.
Yes, and I do have, you're exactly right. And there is a gal that shows up from one of the cities down there because, yes, she monitors the county tax sales really well. She's a city official because the cities, got mowing expense and that kind of thing on some of those properties. Yeah. And they like to see them go too for that reason.
Mm-hmm. Michelle, this is Leah, the treasurer. I just have a couple questions. Good. When you say that counties do partial payments, I've experienced that in the past. And once the tax sale's over with, do they have to have them paid before the sale?
Yes, we tell people that, really what we say is that you have to have them paid before the close of business the day prior to sale. So 5 p.m. the day before a sale, they have to be paid in full. The reality is, if someone our sales typically start at 11 or 1 o'clock is usually our start times, depending on how big the sales are going to be. Okay. If someone walks in at 9 a.m. the day of sale and says, hey, I just got all this money together, can I pay it? And they can pay in full with all the redemption costs, I absolutely 100% recommend taking that money, because there's a very good chance that that's the only way you're going to get 100% of what's due on that property, because again, tax sales are a lot easier by the time you go to auction. And again, we're not in the business of taking property away from people. We're in the business of generating revenue for the county. And that's usually the option that's going to generate the most revenue for you. If that happens, I'll have a treasurer call me and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what this person is doing. And we just deal with each situation on a case-by-case basis.
And that's what we've told our taxpayers. That's not what we want. We want them to keep those properties and we try to work with them. So, I mean, yeah, and so to do the partial pay, they're paying everything.
Yeah, and I have county treasurers have some concern when people walk in and they're making partial payments and they think that the partial payments get them out of tax sale. And especially if the case is already on file, you know, the partial payment isn't going to get you out of tax sale. And I say all you can do is be very clear with them to say, we're going to take your partial payment. You can come in every Friday and pay $100. But until this is paid in full, you are not out of the tax foreclosure proceedings. And as long as all of the treasurer's officials, anybody in your office that is responsible for accepting payments, understand that's the party line, and that's what we say over and over again. We don't really have any problems with it.
Okay. Well, my system, I can code them as tax sale, and I don't take that off until they're totally redeemed or sold. And then another question, I know you said this earlier, but I want to make sure I got that straight. So when we send you the list of our parcels, can they still play only the 22s and anything back? Okay.
Yes, it is triggered. The payment in full under statute is triggered by the filing of the lawsuit.
Okay.
And that's specific to the tax foreclosure statute, in which they state that once the suit is filed, they have to pay all years and fees to get it redeemed. And that's why we've developed the skeleton petition process, where we do an early filing and then an amended filing. The issue we were having in Sedgwick County used to send us about 1,400 parcels a year. And they worked on the list in July and August, and then the list was generated the first Tuesday of September, as you know, that's the date, right? And then they would send out a warning letter and tell people if they came in and paid their taxes in the next 30 days prior to October 1, they could only pay the years that made it out, the oldest years that made it eligible for tax foreclosure. They would have, in the month of September, and that warning letter is totally optional. Some counties still do it. We absolutely recommend against it. They would have people come in the month of September. 300 to 500 parcels would redeem by paying the oldest year in September. And then when the list would land on my desk, it would go from like 1,500 to 1,100. And those people were on the September list year after year after year. And so Brandy Daly took over as treasurer. She said, we're not doing the warning letter. We've been telling counties for years to stop doing the warning letters.
Right.
And as a result, we now are down the average number that we get from the county. We spent several years kind of cleaning everything up and whittling it down. We get the frequent flyers off the list, as we call them, the frequent flyers. And we get now between 600 and 900. So you can see that it has significantly cut the delinquent tax list down. So we are going to probably start to see a little bit of a spike. We saw a little bit of a spike in parcels last year, and I think this next year, because we're seeing the effects of COVID and people not being able to pay their taxes during the COVID year. So you may have a little bit more taxes properties now, because anything that's 2022 or older, and that's kind of last year was 2021 over, and a big spike. Because you think during that COVID window, 2021, that's when people really, if they couldn't afford it, if they fell on hard times, then they stopped paying taxes. But I think we've seen a little spike, and then I think it's going to start to go down in numbers again.
Well, I ran a list of anybody with delinquent taxes from 20, because last year we did 19. So we have 22 and 21s. No, 21 and 20.
Yeah. How many parcels? Do you have a rough estimate of how many parcels
we have?
Might have?
From 90 to 100.
Okay. Yeah. We honestly, we really like that size. My staff really like that size of property. I always say this is enough to make it financially feasible for us to handle without worrying about getting, having to cut any fees or overcharge like huge redemption costs. I mean, that's a good price. It's easy to handle. It's easy to manage. We can generally get those done in 12 to 15 months without an issue. We have a couple counties that regularly send us 300, and they're fine. Sedgwick County, of course, 700 or 800. 35 to 50 sometimes is a little bit small, but that's a fine number too. The Trigo County, I just love Renee, the treasurer up there. So she sends me 5, and I'm like, I just like you so much, Renee. I'll figure out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, Michelle, the next steps for the county is that you would, if we're ready to move forward, send a contract for review.
Yes, yeah. So what I do is I don't send a contract till we have the list from the treasurer nailed down, because I set my per parcel fee based on the number. Based on 100, I think the fee is now at $375. I have to look at my chart. But sometimes what I do is, what I have found in the past few years is that counties will give me an estimate. Oh, we have 150 parcels. So then I set my fee lower, and then after we've reviewed the list and cleaned things up and dropped some out because they're actually eligible, then we're down to 100 parcels, which changes my fee, which means I then have to resend the contract. So I always tell my counties, it's okay. As soon as you want to engage me, I will consider this attorney-client relationship underway. But we won't finalize the contract and send it your direction until we nail down the list with your treasurer's office.
Okay.
Otherwise, I might just end up having to redo it.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So when would you want the list? Are we looking at January? So we get through our tax?
Yeah, that would work. I would say that would work. Right now, obviously, this is always, November and December are always really tough months for me, because I am wrapping up all of the tax sales that we started in 2024 or early 2025, trying to get them done by year end. Plus, we're getting all the new lists in that, as of like September, October, from counties wanting to initiate. And my staff, all of them have days upon days of vacation and sick leave they're trying to use up in December. So it's a balancing act this month for sure. I have several counties that have just signed on, and I told them, really, if you get us the list in January or February, we will likely be able to still get you done by the end of 2026, assuming there are no weird wonky issues that come up, and assuming that the title company can turn your title work pretty quickly. That is typically what creates a little bit of a slog in our cases, is because if you use the title company that I prefer, that I've worked with in multiple counties, then I can get title work from usually no later than 6 weeks, regardless of the size, if it's about 800 parcels. But I don't want to take work out of your county. If you have a local title company you want to use, I'm more than happy to work with them. But I don't need individual title reports from title companies. We work on a master spreadsheet we start generating that master spreadsheet with the identification of parcels with the treasurer. And then that comes to us. It's got all of the parcel information off the tax rolls, all the delinquent tax amounts on it. We review that. We send that list out to title and give the title company instructions on how to identify tax liens and interest holders. Sometimes people are a little concerned. You want us to use an Excel spreadsheet? You don't want us to do a title report? Yeah, this is exactly how we do it, because we use that list for everything from start to finish in the case. It's a master Excel spreadsheet. So sometimes, like, teaching a title company that they've never worked with us before, that process slows down a little bit. Sometimes in my rural counties, title companies just don't turn title work as fast. That just happens. So, but we can kind of discuss that once you have the list picked. It's a couple steps away still. So.
Okay. Sounds good. I think we need to get on a process that we're doing this and doing it timely, instead of things happening and then it gets thrown clear back and then we're back a year. So I think, and I've heard good things about it. So.
Most of my counties, some of them run every year and some of them run every other year. Chautauqua County, I've been working for them since about 2015, 16, somewhere in there. And we did 2 sales back to back, and it cleaned a lot, 2 years back to back, and it cleaned a lot of property up down there. But then each year they were having so few that the treasurer didn't think it was worth it to try to move forward on, 15 parcels. So we would go every other year or every third year, and just depend, the treasurer would look at it and say, oh, how many parcels do we have? Is it worth it? And that's worked out really well for Chautauqua. Buffy County has just done the same thing. They looked at their list and they had maybe 8 or 9, and so they're skipping a year. And so if you get in our rotation, you just check back with me after we get through the first one and say, okay, Michelle, I've done the numbers. Here's what we have. Let's talk about whether it's worth it doing another one right now, or should we skip a year and just put you on the list for skip. You don't go to the bottom of the list or anything. You get listed as a skip on the year.
Yeah, that would be a great thing to happen where we didn't have to do it every year.
Yeah.
Phil, I'm gonna kind of stop us there. We need to get on to our next item here for study session. But Leah, I guess it sounds like you explained it very well.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I think you ran through the whole thing. So thank you for that very well explanation. But sounds like this is the direction. I don't want to speak for Leah here, but
I believe so. I think this is what we need to do for our county to keep things up to date, keep moving, and have a plan.
Pretty good transition.
I think so.
Absolutely. And keep us on track.
I like the idea that hopefully it wouldn't be an actual cost to the county. So I think that's good for the taxpayers too. So
That's correct.
you worked out.
Yeah, if you want to move forward, then just shoot me an email. And the first thing that I will do is I send you, I have 2 memos that you'll get. One is general instructions to treasurer, and it's just a little 2-page overview about what you can expect going forward. We really do walk you through the process every step of the way. So that's the first thing that I'll give you. The second thing that I'll send you is parcel selection criteria, and it's just a good refresher for treasurers on what years they can use to select parcels, because it varies whether you're doing selecting homestead, non-homestead, or abandoned vacant property. And so there's some instructions on that, and you can review those, call me, we can talk it through and work through any questions you may have.
Okay, sounds good.
And then from there, I send you a blank master spreadsheet and give you some instructions on how to start completing that.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Sounds great.
Okay.
Michelle,
All right, well, then that is-
thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We'll talk soon.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
We've had anyone explain it exactly in 30 minutes. That was like,
Yeah.
That was quick.
it was like right to the point. That was perfect.
I think their way that they do it, that helps us as a county not pay for so many charges.
Right.
So I think that would be.
Well, and I guess by her presentation, she's done it. I've done a
Yes.
few of these. I can just tell by that there's
Well.
no referencing anything. This is all memory.
Exactly. We spoke to Clay and Cloud and Ottawa counties, and they have been using her.
County's
This is
all
the
size.
Clay County, theirs is the 18th.
18th,
and it's the
okay.
First
First year,
they've done it.
yeah.
But I've talked with Christine.
Mhm. Right. So, and they've been very pleased with the service and how things have
We
run.
can always re-examine that after the first one and see.
My goal would be at some point, Dickinson County doesn't have to have a foreclosure sale
Yes.
every year. We would have 2 to 3 years.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. She said that. Some of them only do every 2 years. I go, my ears perked up on that.
Well, unfortunately, we're playing catch up from,
Right.
yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Have a great day, guys. Here.
Their criteria, when she sends that may exclude some of these properties that are a sliver attached to
Right.
an alleyway or whatever.
Thank you.
It's usually the only time those happen to sell is because you can't build or do anything with them, but if someone owns the property next to it.
There's some
I'm
ways.
sure it was like a light pole.
Yeah, exactly. There's some like that, without a doubt. So, yeah. Some things that we'll have to work through on addressing, so we don't have to take care of them.
Yeah,
So,
we had someone buy one in town once, and when they got out there with the setbacks, they thought they'd put a house or something on there when they couldn't even
Yeah, I
have a
think-
garage on there.
You want.
It's just land.
Yeah.
We got Aaron here. Did you want, I know we had Marcus at 10. Do you want to go over kind of counselor agreement with Aaron while he's here?
I think so, because actually, we thought we'd take up Marcus's time anyway today. So with these two items, they're pretty big, so.
I'll let you guys kick it off. You've been working with them more than us, so.
So go for it.
Well, good morning, commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to be here and introduce myself. I have provided Ms. Stockendorf with a proposed agreement to provide independent contractor county counselor services on an as-needed basis. And I would be happy to answer any questions about that agreement. It's pretty straightforward. It's as needed. We're happy to provide any and all services that fall within that role. It's consistent with what we do for other municipal clients at our firm. I am an attorney at Clark Mize in Linville. We are, I think, a 13-person firm now, based out of Salina, and we all have our areas of expertise, but generally we're a service law firm for this area. One of my areas of emphasis is municipal law. Collectively, as a firm, we represent multiple municipal entities. We do not represent any counties currently. We represent mostly cities and affiliated entities, but I think it's totally within our wheelhouse. And as you may know, we represent the city of Abilene as well as the local hospital. So we very much value our relationship with the community. Our approach generally is, if you were to proceed, I would be the primary contact and the person doing most of the legal work. But as I've explained to Ms. Stockendorf, situations do arise where either something needs to be immediately attended to, or it's just within another member of my firm's area of expertise, and it can be more efficiently and better handled by that person. So an example would be an employment law matter that implicates some unique area of employment law. I have somebody next to my office I can go talk to, and they might help and get involved. Or if it's litigation, I may not be the best person for that job. But that's our general approach. So as needed, I would generally be the point of contact and kind of the first stop. And then from time to time, we would involve other attorneys at my firm if it is in the county's best interest to do so. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Salina, went to K-State, and then Washburn Law School. Came back. To be honest, municipal law is not an area that I really even knew existed, but our firm has a long history of representing the city of Salina. So I started doing that and really enjoyed it. And the rest is history. But when I'm not doing municipal law, I work with businesses, work on real estate matters, with banks. So it's diverse practice, but I think it lends itself well to being able to handle a lot of things that come up in city or county representation. So that's a little bit about me and my firm. I'd be happy to answer any questions about the agreement or services we can or will provide. Anything that you may wish to talk about.
I'm sure in your experience of municipal law, you're dealing with contracts, outside vendors. I mean, there's other things, but I think a majority of the need that we have is just that agreements with vendors, contracts, services that provide. So obviously you're well versed, and I would hope in the statutories that govern and dictate how we can do those different services. So
Sure.
Really more of a statement. I'm kind of making a
Well, I'll address that.
statement here, but
I think it's spot on. That's a lot of what your need for legal services may relate to, and certainly one of my specialties and something I deal with not only for cities but other clients. And I think representing an organization will quickly figure out those areas of concern and interest, and work with Ms. Stockendorf and other department heads to escalate those things that are of legal concern or that need to be brought to your attention, ranging from risk management and other kind of unique county specific legal concerns. So yeah, that's something we would expect to devote a lot of time on when matters are referred to as contracts. And we've done a little bit of that recently,
Right.
As the need has arisen. So yes, I agree with that.
So I appreciate the fact that the monthly billing would be helpful as far as the budgeting is concerned. On reimbursable expenses, occasionally something comes up where you always try to make a decision. Is it worth pursuing? Is it worth getting all this extra information since it is billable? Or is that something you would discuss with our administrator on what next steps or options are, or with the commission on recommendations?
Yes, and
That's
maybe,
kind of a generalized, vague statement, but I think you know what I mean.
as it relates to fees or expenses, so
Fees and expenses both. Yeah.
fees or expenses, yes, on a routine contract matter, of course, those are pretty quickly addressed. As it relates to larger considerations of, if we pursue this route, it could be very costly, versus maybe more one-on-one off contract review project. I think I would be interested in your feedback and perspective as to what items you would like escalated, or what kind of the thresholds are. But, I do not anticipate many reimbursable expenses. I very, very seldom incur any charges for legal research. I can't really think of what those would be, but larger projects, certainly, if there's a decision to be made that could result in significant legal fees, I would have that discussion with Stockendorf and you as well, perhaps, if that's your wish.
In my opinion, a lot of this would fall into the operation, which is more of the administrator's part of the job or responsibility here at the county, between the board and I would hope that it's mainly coming down to a budget. And then if we have an item that's big enough to where we need to have a conversation, then I know Ms. Dockendorf will come to the board and ask for permission. So I don't know. That's kind of how I look at it. If we're getting out of budget, that's for your normal, if we're going beyond your normal fee, then we need to get more involved, I guess. But I
Probably
think
a lot would be housekeeping type
Right, yeah.
items. So
Exactly.
and I agree with you. I don't think a lot of it will. I can't think of something we're working on right now that's where you're gonna have to go do a bunch of research and incur a bunch of costs for reimbursements.
And my goal is always to provide as much, I'll look for the statutes and that kind of stuff and provide him, at least get that information to him to at least give him a head start on that and do as much research as I can too. Because I want to understand what I'm presenting to him as well. So, and I can tell you that's been what I've done in the past month or so. And I think it's worked very well. And Aaron has been very responsive and our conversations have been good and emails have been very good. So I appreciate that. So.
I want to just remind, I know that this is probably in your mind, but the sole responsibility of the county councilor is to protect the county and the board from any risk or liability that may cause this county a substantial amount of monetary. So to me, that's your core function, is to make sure we're not getting into an agreement that's going to put us at a financial risk that we can't afford, quite frankly. So
Sure, and that's helpful. I agree. My experience with Ms. Stockendorf is consistent with her description. I think certainly as projects come over or are assigned, the more information and the better prepared it is, that makes it more efficient for us to pick up and truly deal with the legal question as opposed to background research. And I've been impressed, and I think it's made it easy with the way that information has been shared and projects assigned to the extent that's occurred already. It's somewhat difficult to predict, sometimes what a project will entail without really diving in, but you can certainly anticipate certain courses of action or decisions will have legal consequences. And, based on my experience representing municipal entities, have a pretty good sense of when matters are escalated and brought to your attention. So we'll continue to do that.
We know you don't have a crystal ball, but just look out for us.
Oh, sure. That's
the future.
That's a premium fee.
That's not part of this package.
Yeah, I know.
do you let John Mize take a few vacation days these days?
He's retired now. We need to get his expertise. We can try to do that. But yes,
He still comes to the office occasionally, doesn't he? Just
every now and then. He moved to Kansas City recently, but I think he may be coming to a firm Christmas party this weekend.
Oh,
So
good.
I'll tell him that.
I know you work for a few cities within our county specifically, and I think that kind of adds validity in my opinion, because we're all in the same boat here, whether we're municipal or county, and I think that's gonna help a lot if we are all on the same page with maybe some of the interlocal agreements and stuff like that.
Familiarity.
Absolutely.
Sure. And, you know, to that point, I don't anticipate many conflicts would arise, but whether it's
It did read
here
that.
or other clients we have, they do arise from time to time. And if we will address that, point those out, get the informed consent if it's something that, if it's the nature of a conflict that can be consented to. But, you know, an agreement between the county and another one of our firm clients, we would have an obligation and expect to point that out and determine whether or not we can proceed for one or both parties. That's kind of the downside to representing multiple entities in the same jurisdiction, but I don't anticipate it'll be a problem, and there are trade-offs to it.
So far, I don't think we've had one where it would cause a conflict.
Agreed.
And just for an example, I suppose, just this last week, the sheriff's department, we offer law enforcement services for the city of Solomon. And so he had sent an agreement that they approved with that type of agreement. That's something you can still be able to review on both sides, or how?
That's a great question.
Yes.
So I was at the Solomon meeting to represent them, and they approved it as presented, I believe.
Yes.
However, in the event that both parties agree on the business terms and it's simply a matter of documenting it in a contract, I expect we can get the informed consent to revise the contract to both parties' satisfaction. If it's not an amicable deal and it's a dispute over contract terms or whether or not to enforce it, I certainly wouldn't be involved, and I'd have to tell you that. Right. But I think in that situation, we could navigate that.
I think it's most of our agreements with the municipals. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I've only been here a year. I don't know if we've ever had any big conflicts, I guess. I don't know.
Pretty much we're always on the same page, or statutorily we have what we can do and can't. And
It is a possibility for the public to know, but pretty rare, I think, possibility, but.
Yep, I agree. I don't anticipate it being a problem, but we'll just have to point that out and deal with it as it arises.
Forgive me, did we announced with Doug, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know if we explained why Aaron's talking to it. Okay. Just wanna make sure.
No, but we can say it again just to be safe.
Sure. Doug, or gosh, why don't you go ahead and
Doug Thompson, our county councilor, is retiring at the end of this year. So that's the reason why we're moving forward with on the tax sale and with looking for legal services for county council positions.
some things he oversaw.
Right.
His tenure here.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions, commissioners?
So what I'm anticipating, and based on some discussions that we had, Aaron would not be at every county commission meeting in attendance.
Correct.
So I don't know if that's necessary unless there's something very specific that we need to have.
I read that in the
Want to have it
agreement
here.
here, will attend upon request. And I have to agree. I don't think there's a terrible amount you need to, I mean, if you need to update us, you need to update us, but you can, I'm very fine with updating us over the phone. You don't need to drive over here unless.
Or send
I
an
feel like you
email and
need
I can do it
give a
too.
present. Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And we can proceed however you wish. I do not have any standing commitments on Thursdays.
Okay.
And, you know, I do have other commitments from time to time, which could stand in the way if you wanted me to come. But generally, we can proceed however you wish.
The only thing I was thinking is if you would like to have him here for a meeting, maybe the second Thursday of the month, because that's the department manager meeting. And then he could hear what some of their things that they're working on, or they could visit with him
I
directly.
think that would be
That.
valuable if you're open to that.
Sure.
Aaron.
Yeah, that should generally work.
And it kind of give us a feel of how we want to do this
Right,
the next year and so on.
right.
So we can make any adjustments.
It's always the second Thursday at 10 a.m. unless something weird happens, and then I'll tell you.
Okay.
By teams too, so you know. And that's the other thing too. We'll set up, we could set up,
Other than
it can be online.
this month, it won't be the second Thursday.
This is true. It'll be the third Thursday this month, so which you're more than welcome to come on the 18th and have Christmas lunch with us as well.
Okay.
Yes.
I actually have a commitment that day.
Okay.
Actually city, but starting the following.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
And we have it on tape too, so if it's something that came up during the meeting or we need to, I mean, it's easy to review.
Yeah.
Our meetings are online on our website if you ever want to watch it.
Our ratings are pretty good.
I was gonna say, they're riveting.
We get a couple hundred views.
To check that out.
Do you want to, are you comfortable with the agreement? How do you want to proceed with that?
Should we add it to the agenda?
I think we should.
Okay,
I highlighted a few things that we talked about it. So was the conflict of interest was the main thing.
Mhm.
The fees of the amount not to exceed 3%, that makes sense. And then Janelle would come to us with the bid. I assume is how that would be good done. Okay. I'm very fine with that.
okay.
If you guys are. Okay.
That's one for them to sign. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, and it was very nice to meet you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Just holler if something comes up. Okay.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome to stay for the meeting if you like.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
Stick around for a little.
Okay.
It's just action packed, Aaron.
No pressure.
In fact, I think we need Marcus to come up now.
Today's here, looks like we're gonna have some time.
Yeah, if you would, please.
And then when he's done, I do have something I would want to just touch base with all of you about, make sure we're all on the same page.
Rothschild, Assistant County Administrator, Finance Director. I just want to touch base on a few items that we're working through right now. Our sales tax for the year. Right now, we have collected almost 99% of what we budgeted for the year. So we're right on pace on where we plan to be, and we will for sure go over our budget as we collect our final disbursement in December. So I feel very comfortable that we're going to bring in, we had budgeted about 1.7 million for our sales tax in the general fund. We're currently at 1.682. So we're looking very well for the year, slightly above what we brought in last year at this time. So it's good to see an increase in our sales tax collections. So I was happy with that so far. I'll leave you with a copy of our updated sales tax numbers here.
Thank you, Marcus.
You're welcome. Got one for you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Jennifer, I'll have to bring in an extra copy. So far, so this year we're working, I just this week had our end of year meeting where we have the clerk, the treasurer's office, human resources all get together and just kind of plan out what that end of year process is going to look like. So right now we're looking to likely close the books on December 23rd. So it'll be a little earlier just based on the way the calendar falls this year. So there will be some more information coming out about how that would affect some of the public as we work through these final year-end dates. Right now, that for me, that means I need to go in and finalize a few things with the budget prep in the software. So I'll be working on that. There's update a few things on the calendar. Once that's in place, then the treasurer and clerk's office can continue to move forward with their end-of-year procedures as well. Also, I've been reviewing the end-of-year department budgets. Right now, everything looks like we're in a good position to move forward. Our projected numbers that we set when we were working through the 2026 budget are coming in pretty well in line. I don't see any major outliers, so I'm comfortable with how we're ending the year. As we announced at our last meeting, we do have a budget amendment, so those are the only two funds that I had any concerns on. They weren't due to over expense or anything of that nature. It was just really a matter of how the dollars fell and the timing fell, where one was the 800 radio project, just to remind the public that we are amending that budget, but that's due to the fact that we thought that the expenditures were going to be able to be settled in 2024. It didn't happen just based on contracts and when products were available. That rolled into 2025. When that happened, that just meant the 2025 budget increase as opposed to it being spent in 2024. So we're just making more of a housekeeping matter to clean that up. And that will take place on December 18th. There will be a budget hearing for the budget amendment, and then we'll present that day with those numbers. Outside of that, those were the main updates that I had for today. I do have a meeting next week with Enterprise Fleet Management. We're going to review their website and the action so that we'll be able to log in there and actually take a look at, we'll be able to track all of our vehicles that will be coming in and the vehicles that will be going out. And so I'll get my first look at their website next week. So I'm excited to see how that will work. And I do anticipate that in 2026, we'll start to see some of those vehicles coming in, and we'll be transitioning our current vehicles out. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
Will we have some carryover this year?
Mhm.
You know, have roundabout, maybe 18th, you could tell me that.
Yeah, I'm reviewing these end of year numbers right now. I want to make sure that there's not any other major increases in the general fund right now. I'm anticipating that we will have a few $100,000 of additional carryover under what we had budgeted. So I think that will help us roll into the 2026 year, which obviously always helps us as we're planning for 2027, because that may give you a little bit of a buffer to help provide some potential property tax relief as we're planning the upcoming budget as well. So I think by the 18th, I'll have a better set number for you on that. But right now, I'm very optimistic that it looks good, that we're going to come in under where we anticipated. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
So on the fleet deal, we are going to be renting cars and getting rid of our automobiles.
Yeah, so we have entered the agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management, and so we will be doing, it's a equity lease program. So we will be leasing our vehicles with Enterprise. Not all of them, but most vehicles that were 3/4 ton and lower. And a lot of our administrative vehicles, things like that, the sheriff's vehicles, we'll start that lease program. So I think we're going to see some good financial benefits from that based on what was proposed to us. And we'll kind of get our first test of that in these upcoming months. In the first year, there will be a greater number of them because we did have some aged vehicles that really made sense for the program pretty early. And so we just won't see that happen very often where we have a vehicle that's 20 years old any longer. And right now we still have a good number of those. So we're going to be able to rotate through, which will help increase our safety on those vehicles. And it also provides a little bit more value in those vehicles as we go to roll those through and trade them in after 3 to 4 years in the process.
Okay. Well, thank you, Marcus. Good news.
Pleasantly surprised, still on the sales tax.
It was due, I know, around April, wasn't
Mhm.
it? That way.
Right.
Wonder how Christmas shopping will go this year.
I don't know. I've heard Black Friday numbers were really good, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you buy a lot?
No. I don't see how everyone's getting it for. Costs are going up over here.
January, February.
So in the email that I sent you on Monday, I had let you know that I've been working through the indigent defense contracts, and I do have one of the attorneys. Well, 2 of them have asked about an increase. One has asked a couple times about an increase, and the request, currently they're being paid $4,350 a month, and they're asking for $4,500 a month. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that before we do anything else, because I'd like to put this on the agenda for December the 18th. And that's what I've told the attorneys. And honestly, we did not budget for an increase. And my recommendation is for at least the 2026 year that we stay at the 43.5 a month. And then we can have a discussion to increase if need be. But I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that.
When was the last time there was an increase?
We did that 2 years ago, if memory serves. Doug had negotiated that because they had been at 2,500 and then went to 3,500 and then moved to
43.50.
$43.50. Yes, yeah.
Last 2 years.
In the last 2 years.
Yes.
Oh, Wow.
25 to 35 in the 43.
See where you're coming from.
Mhm. And, you know, that's something that Doug had worked with on the number of cases that they have and what their responsibilities are for that. And, oh yeah, I'll scan it and send it to you if that works. You know, I don't know how many they have per se, because it just depends on what comes before them. So that probably fluctuates some, but.
What do you guys think?
And I haven't had it reviewed by council too.
I wonder if that would be something though, where it would be helpful to kind of say, this is what would be next budget. That we could plug in a little bit of an additional amount.
Right.
And that way the two that are okay with where it's at now or whatever, I mean, that still takes care of that, but it's kind of gives something, a window that there will be a little something more when we can put it in the budget.
Yeah, we renew these contracts here in December for the new year, but I really, those types of discussions, we should probably start to have, you know, in that April, May timeframe, just so that we can expect and budget for that increase.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's where my first thought goes. Why wasn't this brought up during the 3-month-long budgetary season we did with calling everybody in and what do you need? What don't you need? What can you, you know?
Yeah.
To me, it's we're out of budget season, but I don't want to be mean, I guess, but
Yeah.
Right.
I guess I'm with you. I don't know where my fellow commissioners are, but we've set the budget.
Right.
So,
But I think that gives them an answer to,
Okay. Then I'll have that.
that also shows that, I mean, we're aware that
to use
we
the-
do need to increase that perhaps next year.
Right. I'll have that discussion with them and we'll go from there.
okay. That would be, yep.
Okay. Well, that was easy.
How about your cards?
Okay, so Lynn had asked, every year we have been,
Well, it's just that we've always done this for
Right.
several years now, so.
right, so just as a reminder, there's about 146 cards that we do hand out to all of our employees. That's a $50 per employee that we receive, or that you approve to hand out, so. And we purchased them from Country Mart and from AC Market this last year and plan to do the same thing, so. It's the time to do that, and we'll hand them out probably the week of the Christmas lunch.
Yeah, that'd be nice, I think.
Okay. Then
See
that's the
Major.
dollars that we spent about $5,000 at one and about 2,300 at another. We'll split it up a little bit, but that's what we're running total, so.
Those are both local, so, okay.
Right. The other thing that's on my list is with the district court offices closing for December 26th. That is a question that has come up, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on closing that for this year only because of the calendar, the way it rolls, and see what you have to, or what you think about that. So that is a Friday, so.
I kind of brought this up a little bit. I asked Janelle if the court isn't open, why are we open? It's in our name, county courthouse. And I'm not saying we don't have other functions,
Right.
but I feel like that is
Mhm.
a very large function of this building.
Mhm.
So to me, I guess
Right.
if they're not going to be open, why are we opening?
Mhm.
And really, and I asked the second question, and I'm just being realistic, and I'll say it to the public, what are we going to get done the day after Christmas? I don't think we're going to get a whole lot accomplished. Let's just be realistic.
Right, there'll be a lot of people that will be gone.
Exactly.
too, So, yeah.
That's my take on it, but I'd love to hear your guys' opinion.
So,
Go ahead, Lynn, I'm sorry.
well, I was going to say, just looking ahead, next year, Christmas is going to fall. No, I'm on the 27th.
I think it's on.
On a Friday.
It's on a Friday.
And then the next year, it's on a Saturday, so
Once every
in
7
that instance, we'd close on Friday.
Friday.
Right.
Well, we would be, yeah, because of, we're closed Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, so we would be closed on Friday anyway, so.
That's pretty standard.
Right.
Mhm.
So if it's on a weekend, then we close the Friday before. If it's on Saturday, if it's on a Sunday, then we close the Monday.
I think this is a pretty unique year.
Right.
But now this year they would work through the 24th.
No, we were still closed on the 24th. That's been
Closed
part of the count.
24th and the 25th.
Yeah, that was approved in January, for our closing dates.
But yeah, I mean, yes, we're basically only gonna be open 2 days, the week of Christmas.
Right.
Obviously, emergency staff's gonna be here.
Absolutely. Our 12 and 24 hour
Yeah,
employees will be here.
and it goes without saying, I think, but I just don't say it.
I wanted to get it before you so we could let employees know, especially if they have plans or are trying to make plans for Christmas and move forward with that. So,
Vacation days anyway.
I think it's-
Right.
What do you think, Ron?
I think it's a good idea. Time's so important to employee time,
I think so too.
Family
And
time.
yeah, family time.
and the fact of the matter is we have everything's budgeted, so it's not necessarily a cost incurrence.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the one thing that we're gonna run into, which isn't directly with this, but, you know, like occasionally there's requests for additional days besides the regular days we have. And there's been discussion also that maybe there'll be another holiday added. Besides that, you hear that back at DC. I don't know if that will happen, but, you know, at some point does become a budget issue for cities and counties, because the ones that do work do get extra pay because they're working on a holiday. And so, I mean, it's, but I think the public would know that, you know, they could come in and get things taken care of. And there's still days left in the year.
There's still days left.
Yeah, you got
And we offer some online things as well, you know, so that is something that they need to be aware of, so.
I think one year we tried it had been brought up if the courthouse would be closed early or some offices closed early and on the 31st of December, and that actually kind of created a hardship for people that are trying to conduct
That makes
business
sense.
transactions and register their deeds and so on. And I mean, it wasn't anyone that's current here, but when it came up
Yes, it did.
7 or 8 years ago, and all of a sudden it was a battle on how many extra days you close or hours.
Right.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, then we will proceed with that then. Thank you very much.
I think it's how the calendar fell this year. I don't think I want to say it. It's not an every year deal.
Correct.
It's just because the calendar fell this way, the courthouse decided to close.
Yes,
Combination of factors add to it.
yes, definitely. And we'll start putting that information out as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get it on the calendar.
Mhm.
Facebook.
Sure.
But darn it, that was the day I was gonna pay my property tax.
Liberty 28th.
Yeah, but better late than never.
And I will send out an email to, so,
You want me to put it on the announcements today?
I think you should.
there you go. You're gonna do it? Okay. Then I will. Okay. Do you have any?
Well, if you do want to come in and work that day, Janelle, though.
Absolutely.
You got a key to.
Janelle works Christmas.
Work Thanksgiving, so.
Yeah.
You really?
I have a few things, so, yeah, for that weekend, so it's typical, so. Yeah, do you have any questions or
Since you worked on Thanksgiving.
if you have any questions or anything else that you have for me?
I just set my fantasy football team too today.
That works, though, right?
We do serious work there. I do not, commissioners.
No.
We don't have anything further to discuss in work session. I propose we take a quick break until 11 a.m. to resume the regular meeting.
Okay.
Don't get much of a crowd.
Some days.
It's not that bad.
We do have quite a few online though. So
Yeah.
people that log in and watch stuff.
Yeah,
I was telling him, I went to that farm shop a lot. And
yeah, it's
oversupply, that's what's.
not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
I had 10 a.m. time probably
Yes.
lends itself to a different crowd.
And sent them back, and they wouldn't do it. And we weren't allowed to take something.
God doing us.
Yeah.
You know that because all three of us got me scared.
Yeah, coming up.
Which is good. It's that good, but
They want to cut those,
Good.
they want to cut the cost of the beef. Well, of course, consumers gonna say, oh, yeah. But it doesn't ever get down to that level. It's always the producer that's gonna get.
I know John was upset about that cow deal. Is it Argentina? Is it Argentina?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know why he did it. He goes, he said the same thing. I know why he did it, but I don't like
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
He goes, for the first time in 10 years, we're getting ours and then also.
It's a 10-year, it's a 10-year deal. It is a 10-year.
That's what he
deal.
said. He goes, first time in 10 years, we're finally getting.
There's some of them, right?
Yeah.
And then he took it.
Some of them are
Yeah,
kind of,
See, that's that, that's just the way that
and then they'll be able to look at the hits based on.
arm, yeah.
That's what that is.
I feel bad for Mr. Francis. Tough one up.
And nobody left it or say you.
Works pretty well.
Hey, my employees want me to tell you thank you for the 26th.
Oh, yeah. You're
Well, you notified them quick.
I'm on top of it.
You're on top of it.
welcome. The good news.
there's, yeah, one right across. the street.
It's really just nice to hear, so I just didn't.
Yeah,
No, yeah, I mean, that's,
I will send out an email to all staff
was a thought.
Yep. later on. So, and we do
Well, they were
appreciate that.
watching anyway. Both of mine. Yeah.
Usually Rose is watching, usually Lisa's on there.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, your deputy,
yeah.
who else usually is in there? Leah's in
Leah.
there sometimes.
Mhm.
Yep.
She was here today, so I don't think she thought to get on.
I
Right.
need to throw our deal up on the screen there so we can see.
Yep, I'm gonna do that right now. I'm,
Gasoline,
uh-huh.
Price Center's got us beat by almost 40 cents.
I don't get that.
Are they under $1?
$2
I mean, they're-
dollars and some cents for diesel yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah.
diesel?
Wow.
So you can't, that's, yeah.
Diesel is,
Yeah, I just got some yesterday.
it's $1 higher a gallon at Love's than it is in town.
Really?
Why?
It's their supplier, I guess, is part of it, but.
They're getting up in dollars. That's.
That has to pay a premium for the.
For just
I don't
being
know.
like a short haul drive
Well,
more?
but even in town here, like I don't know, that news shop that where no,
Or
by
West.
West. Yeah, like they're
Jumpstart.
50 cents higher than 24/7. Like, you guys are right next door. Why would you do that?
I know.
I'm gonna go stop at 24/7.
Mhm.
Yeah, I never think of
It used
that.
to be, it seemed like the further you got from the interstate, it got a little bit.
Yeah.
cheaper almost.
No,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
But now, yeah, maybe not always.
I'll be honest, though, I go to West Stop. It's just where I go.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he's higher. I don't even look. I should, but I like JD a lot, so that's where I go.
Yeah, service means a lot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are, yeah.
Yep.
Yes, it does, without a doubt.
Difference to me. I'll pay
Mhm.
40 cents more.
Mhm. We got 3 things to add to the agenda today.
Yeah, I got a ball in there. I got consider purchase of steel, consider tubes and legal grant. Services with CMNL.
Yes.
Everything go all right yesterday?
Okay.
We'll talk about it later. Ken? We're gonna do it later. I'll remind you. We'll do it some other time.
We got copies of all of this, right? The CMD and the resignations and appointment, right? In their folder.
yeah, they got them all.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Oh, it says what he like to.
Yeah.
Well, he looks at that.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, I just figured that. Yeah, sorry, I was,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm like, I
I
think it's supposed to come on Monday.
Would you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. How about you?
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
I'm sure I
A sandwich or two.
Yeah. I heard you didn't have to do any
I wasn't familiar with it, so.
preparation. You just showed up and
Yeah, I just,
ate and shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just.
Kind of spoiled in that way, but that's, yeah.
Able to all of that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
It looks like the Chiefs have a pretty short season.
Does look like that, doesn't it?
On these, it's on there.
Yeah,
Okay. Because they don't want.
There's a lot of
I can do that.
changes, I think, that would, or a lot of things that would have to happen before them to be able to advance, I guess. But I'm not up on all that, but.
I mean, mathematically, it's still possible.
Right, but the odds are pretty.
Yeah, they'd have to run the table and then a couple other teams would have to get upset on a game.
But never say never.
My heart was broke when you guys beat us, so. It's been broke since then. Okay, you fan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was gonna say, man,
I remember.
and I didn't know you went to K-State. Might have changed things.
Keep on thinking.
I just forgot about this.
It gets really bad. Like, we have even Steve right here from security. He's a big Chiefs fan. When he chooses not to like pick on me at all, then it's gotta be bad.
He just doesn't want to hear it.
You aren't coming up, though.
Yeah.
On the fantasy football league, you know, everybody tries to pick up the defense that's going up against Raiders. See who they're playing. Raiders have a bye week, don't they, this week?
No, we've already had our bye week. That was one.
Where's it, Denver?
I remember that one. That's good. Yeah, I found a lot of other things to do on Sundays now. I'm much more.
What do we have to add to the agenda?
We got some steel bids, some tube bids, and then Aaron's agreement. And those are. Should have a bid.
Yeah.
We don't have anything going on. We don't have any extracurriculars today, do we?
No, we do not. Sorry.
No, I want to. I need to.
Okay.
Oh my. I call this meeting to order. If we'd all rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. With that, we'll move down to the approval of the agenda. We have quite a few things on today with the approval of the CMB license renewals at Fair Station and Walt's Four Seasons. Also have the approval of the resignation of Lyle Heinz as the Sherman Township trustee effective January 1, 2026. Then we'll also have the approval of the appointment of Daryl Ferguson for the new Sherman Township trustee effective on January 1st, 2026. We'll also appoint a county commissioner to sign accounts payable for December 11, 2025. We'll also consider the purchase of steel for bridge located on 1686 Flag Road. Consider purchase of 2 for 3 bridges. I'll list those as we go through that one. And then a legal agreement of services with CMNL law firm out of Salina.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All those in favor, any additions to the agenda? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Moving down to consent agenda. The minutes are provided for you of the November 20th meeting. We did not have a meeting last week due to the observance of Thanksgiving. Payroll of $438,627.47. Abated tax of $619.57. Escape tax of $1,567.16. And health insurance of $178.85. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving down to commissioner comments and committee reports. Why don't we start in the middle? Lynn?
Okay, a few days before Thanksgiving, the 4-H had their achievement banquet at Sterl Hall, and I was able to attend that. And they serve a meal, and all the 4-Hers are there from throughout the county. It's just amazing the number of students, kids that participate in that, and the parents and the sponsors. And Jill Martinson did just really a terrific job organizing that. It ran very smoothly, but the groups, received a lot of recognition, which they very much deserve. And so it's a nice event. Also this past weekend, I was able to attend a function where Senator Moran was there and the president of K-State was there. And it's just kind of good to have those contacts and have a chance to kind of informally visit with some of those people. Next week, I will be attending the Kansas Association of Counties meeting, and it's a meeting statewide that they have at Wichita. And so I'll be there for a few days in the middle of next week. That's all I have.
Thank you, Lynn. Ron?
I think I just take a little bit of time to thank the producers out there. We're kind of glad the harvest is pretty well wrapped up. They got a little bit of break from the moisture we've had, so we're kind of thankful for the moisture. They got a little break. Obviously, we've had a Thanksgiving Day that we all be thankful for. So always good out in the country.
Thank you, Ron. I don't have much to report. I did attend an executive committee meeting with the EDC this week on yesterday, at noon. Went over some various stuff. Something that we decided in that, and we'll bring that to the board next week, is that we sort of had an executive committee during our transitional period. I think it's time we maybe stop having those meetings and go to the general at-large board, and that's the direction we're going to take, and make that committee what it should be, which is a by on-call kind of basis, and really bring everything back to the board. And so that's kind of what we're working on. And then we're going to be working on in January, our gala or our yearly event. So we'll be having some announcements coming out about that soon. In addition, no, that was a couple of years. That's all I have to report. I apologize. Don't see any petitions or proclamations. We'll go ahead and open up for public comment. If County Administrator Joe Dockendorf would read the rules, please.
For the Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4317 and 75-4318A, as the elected board, the county commission is not allowed to meet or make any decisions without posting the meeting. They are only allowed to act on items on the agenda which they set. During their regular meeting, the county commission may allow for public comments on items not listed on the approved agenda. It is at the discretion of the county commission if they allow comments on agenda items. If you wish to provide comments, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address. If you are online, raise your hand and we will unmute you. Please state your name and address. Each person may speak for 3 minutes. The allotted time will start after the speaker has given his or her name and address. Public comments shall be addressed to the county commission only and not to the speaker or the audience. Only the county commission will be permitted to ask the speaker questions. The public comment period is not a back and forth discussion with the county commission. You should make your views and input known to them, but it is not a time to ask them questions. You should not expect them to respond to your comments. Comments may express support or agreement with the previous speakers, but in the interest of time, please do not repeat the same information. You may state something to the effect of your name and address and you agree with the previous speaker. It is important to remain in a respectful, non-threatening atmosphere for anyone who would like to speak. Please do not engage in such actions as cheering, booing, clapping, insults, threats, etc.
Go ahead and open it up for a little bit of time here if there's any comments. Don't think we're going to have any in the building today. Okay. Go ahead and move on then. We'll do reports from county officers. Once again, we'll go back to County Administrator General Dockendorf.
Commissioners, the county has decided to hold a Christmas food drive. You know that the MS department had done a drive last month, and we decided it would be a good idea for Christmas. And there's boxes located on the main floors of the courthouse. And as you noted, or Lynn had noted, KAC conference is next week, so there will not be a county commission meeting because Lynn and Kenny are attending the KAC conference along with several staff. The Public Works is building a new structure in the 2800 block of Barn Road. That'll be closed for a couple of days to get that completed. We did have a new hire start in dispatch. Actually, 2 new hires started in dispatch, which is great. So they'll go through the training process. Reese Construction is setting the stringers at 240 Rain Road. That's a 50-foot bridge, and that's part of the 3 bridges that you had approved earlier. So this third and final bridge on 500 Avenue will not start till probably February. First half taxes are due December 20th. The other thing that I would like to note is the Hope Ridge Wind Farm, the court's decision affirming the Board of County Commissioners approval of the CUP. So that was sent to you on the 26th of November. The judge ruled in our favor then. So we'll start our next process with planning and working on the agreements and that. So we've got some meetings that we'll be setting up before too long and start the ball rolling on that. So.
Well, I'm just going to add to that. We'll have some more information on that decision online. If you guys want to take a look at it, kind of goes into detail what the judge's opinion was, if anyone's curious.
Right. Right. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, I was going to ask, with 2 new hires, where's that put are we closer to full staff yet?
We're getting closer to full staff. So that should put us at 6.
Okay, good.
9. So but we're getting there.
Good.
We are getting there.
Good.
Yes. Yes.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
I know that's a tough job.
It is.
For 4, let alone 9.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Notices and communications, Jennifer Gayton, County Clerk.
Hello. Dickinson County Recovery Court will be having a graduation celebration Wednesday, December 10th at 3:30 p.m. located in the county courthouse in courtroom 1 at 109 East First Street in Abilene. We also received a KDHE notice to reissue an existing state permit for an existing facility for Reno Gruber located at 1778 600 Avenue in Hope, Kansas. The full document will be located on our website at www.dkcoks.gov in the County Clerk and Elections page. All written comments need to be received by December 27th, 2025. Also, the courthouse will be closed December 24th through the 26th for the Christmas holiday.
County offices, I would say.
Oh, county offices, excuse me, all county offices will be closed.
Thank you. All right, I'll go ahead and move down to what's on our agenda today. The first is the approval of the CMB license renewals for Ferris Station and Waltz Four Seasons. You give me something on that?
Yes.
There should be a
So we have a
license there.
licensing that we signed that they have, and they just have to have that posted and.
Right.
Oh, these,
Right.
okay, sorry, that's, I just wanted to.
It's just the final process.
CMB threw me off. That makes it serial more, okay. Yes.
Beverage license.
So when they apply for that, just, or any business, what's kind of the vetting process to,
The state does all that.
okay,
All we're doing is just kind of making sure the township says it's okay, and then the county commissioners also approve it.
okay.
And then after all that's done, it goes, you guys approve it to go to the township, and the township sends it back to us, and then we give you the license for the renewal for sign. That's the final process.
Department of Revenue has the responsibility
The
of.
state regs,
Yes.
so they're uniform.
The state gives their.
It goes to them first, and then come to us.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you for that.
Mhm.
I would just move to go ahead and approve those CMB licenses for Ferris Station and Waltz Four Seasons.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Congratulations. Approval of the resignation of Lyle Heinz as the Sherman Township trustee, which will be effective on January 1, 2026. For the public notice, we got a letter from Lyle Heinz that reads, I, Lyle Heinz, hereby resign from the position of trustee of Sherman Township Board, effective January 1, 2026. Mr. Darrell Ferguson will be assuming the position at that time. With that being said, what we need to do is to approve the resignation of Lyle Heinz. Do I have a motion to do so?
Make a motion to accept the resignation of Lyle Heights.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Moving down to the appointment. This will be the approval of Daryl Ferguson as outlined in the letter from Daryl Heinz to assume the new Sherman Township trustee position that he would be vacating effective January 1, 2026. Do we need to have any discussion about Mr. Daryl? Do we know who Mr. Daryl is? I mean, I guess we don't have a choice, do we?
They selected him, they vetted him, they're
That's
the
that.
ones that found him, so.
Okay.
Well, and he's lived up there quite long, owns property.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Yes.
And maybe I do. I guess I don't know.
And typically, if they give us a recommendation, we kind of leave that in
We
their
take it.
hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
I figured that, but I just thought I'd ask.
I'd move
Yeah.
that we approve the appointment of Daryl Ferguson.
I'll second that. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next order of business is to appoint a county commissioner to sign accounts payable for December 11th, 2025, which we will not have a commission meeting because two of the commissioners, I and Lynn, will be at the KAC annual conference. So, Ron, it's you.
Think about my vacation.
Well, but I can come
Ready
in,
Oh, can you do it?
I could come in on Monday.
It will be ready Monday,
Okay.
Okay.
So.
if you're okay with that.
A little closer drive
Yeah,
unless you want.
that makes sense.
Of course, I would go to Abilene and spend some money.
Have it first.
Bring Mary Sue.
All right, here's, let's do this. I move that we appoint Lynn Peterson, County Commissioner, to sign accounts payable on December 11th, 2025.
Before, on or before.
Yes, on or before, sorry.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, man.
Sure.
Next is to consider a purchase of steel for bridge located on 1686 Flag Road. Janelle, do you want to kind of take this one?
Commissioners, there were 3 bids that were received for bids and structural steel for a bridge there at 1686 Flag Road. Husker Steel came in at $27,546 delivered. Odin Enterprises, $28,912.19 delivered. And Wellborn Sales, $42,699 delivered. And that's for the I-beams, the angle iron, the H pilings and whatnot for the construction of that bridge. So staff is recommending the structural steel bid from Husker Steel. Along with that, the decking and sheeting came in, and there's only one vendor that has the materials needed, and that's Wellborn Sales. So that's at $30,486.10. So staff is recommending approval of the decking and sheeting from Wellborn Sales.
So we would be approving both of these today and simultaneously or separately?
You can do them separately.
Okay.
I'd make the motion that we go ahead and take the bid from Husker Steel at $27,546, and that's for the structural steel as recommended from staff.
So moved.
And also the low bid.
I'll second that. Any other discussion on the matter? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries to accept the bid from Husker Steel at $27,546. Moving on to the second bid for the same project for the aluminum decking 12 gauge. I'm going to go ahead and motion that we accept the only bid that we can get from Wellborn Sales for $30,486.10.
And I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Martin, you can go buy some steel.
Yes.
Okay. Next order is the consider purchase of tubes for 3 bridges, one on 2272 Quail Road, one on 1847 500 Avenue, and the other on 390 3600 Avenue. Once again, Janelle, would you take this away for us?
Commissioners, that is for the purchase of actually 4 tubes for those 3 sites, and they're ranging anywhere from 48 by 36 to 35 by 24, 72 by 32. And our staff will be able to install them. Contact bid came in at $6,578.22 delivered, and Wellborn came in at $6,993 even. So staff is recommending Contact at the lower bid. And we've done business with both companies before, so.
Do I have a motion to accept the lower bid?
I'll make a motion to accept Contact bid for the the culverts for the amount of $6,578.22.
So moved. I'll second that. Any more discussion on that matter? It's pretty straightforward. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Just curious, follow up. When do we expect those to, once we get it?
Probably not quite next year.
Next year?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, last order of business today. We talked about this in the work session with Mr. Martin today, is to accept the legal agreement for services of county counselor with CM&L law firm out of Salina. Specifically, Aaron Martin will be the counsel in discussion here. This is to accept that agreement is essentially what we're voting on today. I'm going to open it up for discussion. If there's any.
Well, there's advantages to doing it on contract labor, and we've been served very well in the past, but as was mentioned, Doug Thompson's had his retirement, well deserved. But also from our discussions, Mr. Martin visits or has services available for several of the municipalities in this area. So the expertise is there that's going to be helpful for us.
Also, Ron, you got anything?
I'm glad we got somebody to take a look after us.
I'm just talking from a budgetary standpoint. We don't anticipate this as really, we hope, we know.
Right.
I should say hope. We know this isn't going to increase our budget in terms of this area. So this really is going to work out pretty well, I think, as a transitional. So once again, I do, on behalf of the county commission, I do want to thank Doug for his long service here at the county. We appreciate it. He provided a very good service, and I want to commemorate him for that. But we do need to have a counselor. So with that being said, I would motion that we accept the legal agreement as stated for services with CM&L Legal.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, just so there's no confusion, I think Doug is still going to be doing his regular practice.
Yes.
So I mean, it's not like he's retiring
Right.
everything he's doing. And he's also going to be involved with recovery court on behalf of he's done that a long time on behalf of the county, and really, I think probably on behalf of all the residents in Dickinson County, because he really has a passion to helping people get back on track and building them up for the future.
Yes, for sure.
Absolutely. He's a very good member of this community. Anything else? With that, I would motion to adjourn.
Oh, one quick thing. So I think, and it's going to be on a future agenda, but we'll do our evaluation of our county administrator. So that's going to be coming up. And so I'd kind of like to have a hard copy of the form we fill out. I know you send it online, and
Okay.
on the phone, it kind of zigzags a little bit.
I'll get you copies before you leave today.
You know what? But when do you want that back then, I guess? When do you want to?
We planned on, well, what I was wanting to do is December 18th, we were going to call some executive sessions
Oh, okay.
and do the evaluation. And then I was hoping to call another one and bring Janelle into it and then give it.
Oh, sure.
If that's okay with you guys.
So that gives us a week or so to get.
I did have a question for Janelle. When you send that out, Janelle, it comes in a form that really is, I'm done with mine, in fact, but it didn't come out across the computer very good. I have an old computer that's got to crank up.
Okay. Okay.
But you know what I'm saying, this country folks got, and so when it comes over, everything else you send us, it comes in completely clear except that one
That
form.
was a fillable form, so I'll get you a hard copy.
Okay.
Okay.
Didn't mean to cut
Could you
you
get
off.
those, could you just get some hard copies before we leave today?
I can, yeah.
So we can do that and come back in a week and,
Mhm.
perfect. Okay. I would motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you all. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. It's not the,